Alright guys, it's Wednesday morning. I'm still editing videos on my phone. I'm still without a functional laptop. Fingers crossed that I get some good news today about my laptop being fixed. Oh dear. Anyway, today we are heading back to the secret woods because we've got more things to contemplate. This time it's Mr. Don Wells, father of missing Summer Wells. Now, a few people have directed me to a live stream by Jonathan Lee Riches. So guys, in the comments, please comment on the content rather than the source. I know some people have an issue with Jonathan Lee Riches, but in this instance, it's the information that Jonathan has unearthed that is relevant. And it's very interesting, very concerning. And we want to ask the question, was Jodisue Brown... What's all that about? We want to ask the question, was Jodisue Brown right about Creeper Don Wells? Jodisue, at some point in the dim and distant past, claimed that Don was creeping around their property at night, and she thought he was trying to peep on her. You know, that kind of peeping, that creepy kind of peeping. And then when all this stuff came out about Don's stepsisters and the potential essay there, she then thought that maybe her recollection of him peeping on her, Jodisue, it was actually her young daughter, who would have only been very young at the time. I mean, she's still young. She's still only about 14 or something like that. But this is like a few years previous. And of course, for those not familiar, Jodisue is the woman who used to live across from the Wells. So at the time Summer disappeared, Jodisue was living across from the Wells. So it's the opposing hill, the other side of Ben Hill Road. So the Wells live at 110. Jodisue lived on the Bernard property at 125, directly across. So Don Wells peeping at night into their windows and stuff when Andy, her then partner, wasn't there. Now, Andy was asked about this in a live stream, and he said that he chased someone at some point. And, so was that Don? Well, Jodisue believes it was, and there's been some, disbelief about Jodisue, some of the things she said. And, well, in this instance, based on Don Wells' past behaviour, maybe she was right. So that's what we're going to contemplate today. This is the contemplation log. I think I'm going to use the contemplation log, though, as a little table, so that I can read some stuff for you. All right, let's try this. I think she's going to knock it over. We'll try it anyway. All right, so this is the situation. This is 2006. Don Wells is living in Arkansas. And we've known for a long time that he has a criminal history in Arkansas, as he does in any other state that he's lived in. And we know that he was done for burglary in Arkansas. So we didn't know the details. So Jonathan Lee Riches has got the details for one of these offences. So I'm going to read you from this report. Now, this is for burglary. All right. So let's read some of this. And if you want more details and you want to see a full rap sheet, then go over to Jonathan Lee Riches' channel. And it's credit to Jonathan for getting this document and the others that he shows on his live stream. So Jonathan's done good here. All right, so on 7/20/06 at 12:39 a.m, right, these officers were in this area on patrol. Okay. You're checking out 2 juveniles in the area, and they came upon Don Wesley Wells. And it's definitely the right Don Wells. So let me just be clear. 2006, Don Wells would be 41 years old, because he was born in November 64, so it would make him 41, nearly 42. Okay, so I observed a white male, later identified as Donald Wells, wearing a white t-shirt, standing on the driver's side of a blue and white van parked on the driveway. I noticed that the garage was open. Okay, so the juvenile female kept asking me if she could close it, so I don't know who this juvenile female is. When Wells observed us pointing to his location, he walked to the front of the van, which was facing the garage, and crouched down behind it out of sight. So he's there with this juvenile female. So 41-year-old Donald Wells is there with a juvenile female, which is weird. Which is very weird. Anyway, so some police intuition going on here. I could still see Wells attempting to hide by crouching down in front of the vehicle. Wells stood up and began to lean on the front of the van while we rode up the driveway towards him. Upon making contact with Wells, I noticed him appear to be nervous and to have a shaking in his voice. Wells stated he was waiting for Johnny to come home. So who's Johnny? I don't know. Wells stated that he was friends with Johnny but did not know where he was tonight or if he was coming home. Wells advised that Johnny's mother, Candy Beatty, was asleep inside, but she did not know he was outside waiting. Wells initially advised that he had been waiting for Johnny for approximately 2 hours outside of the residence, but he was getting tired and he was going to leave. All right. Police intuition. Due to Wells' demeanour and the fact that he kept sticking his hands in his pockets, they searched him. During the search, this officer located a pair of red panties, so ladies' undies, in the right front pants pocket. Wells initially advised that they were from his wife, who resided in West End, but then corrected himself and stated they were his girlfriends. Wells stated he also was picking up some items he had stored in the shed. Surprised he didn't hide in the shed, eh? Okay. So in the garage there was an open laundry room which contained several lingerie items. Wells advised that he understood his rights and agreed to speak with me without an attorney present. During the interview, Wells admitted that he had entered the garage and took the panties from the laundry room. He said he was going to use them to pleasure himself at a later date. So, weird that a 41-year-old man would be sneaking about in the company of a juvenile female, stealing ladies' underwear. We need to talk about this. Alright, so stealing lingerie items. Now, some people would say that this is a low-level S offence and should be treated as such. Well, it wasn't in this instance because it was treated as a residential burglary and he was charged with that. Now, in some cases, it's absolutely true that these low-level offences, like stealing underwear for autoerotic purposes, creeping around, spying on people, can escalate because it becomes an addiction. And that person has got to do more and more as that addiction progresses to get the same buzz. You only need to look at cases like the disgraced ex-Colonel Russell Williams for an example of this that is well known in the true crime community. He started off breaking into people's houses, stealing their underwear, progressed to wearing their underwear, filming himself in their house, and then it progressed to SA, and then ultimately it progressed to murder. But does that happen in every case where people do these low-level, creepy, creepy, but non-contact offences. No, not in all cases, no, definitely not. Some people have a particular fetish for, let's say in this instance, red ladies' underwear. Let's say they enjoy breaking into places because of the buzz, or they're breaking in for other reasons, and they steal some underwear as a little bit of a joke, a little bit of titillation. In those cases, it's not going to progress to more serious offences. But this is one instance where a little bit of good police intuition resulted in Don Wells being searched. How many other cases have there been where Don Wells has done these things? Maybe that's his thing, creeping around people's properties. Look, it was only recently that Don Wells said that he knew that Fred Hill used to go around people's properties in Beach Creek on a golf cart stealing stuff. But, well, how does Don know that if he wasn't there? I did a live stream about this only a few days ago. How did Don know where Fred Hill was going unless he was there? So maybe it's Don that creeps around people's properties stealing stuff. Now, he's claimed that lots of stuff got robbed from 110, and maybe that's true, but maybe Don was part of the problem around there. Maybe Don, once he's coked up, he does a little bit more than just creeping around. He steals stuff. Maybe that's what he was doing at Jodisue's. How do we know? How do we know? Now, we know that Don likes to go partying, you know, Knoxville and other places. We don't know how many people in Beach Creek accompanied Don, or whether Don used to do this on his own. We've heard that he would frequent, you know, ladies of the night whilst he was there doing his partying. We know that underwear was found in his car on one occasion after one of these trips to Knoxville. We know that he went somewhere and disappeared to, I don't know, on a bender very soon after Summer disappeared. We know from Don that he claims that the TBI thought he'd sold his daughter for drugs. You know, this story about him giving away $2,000 of drugs free because he knew that the feds were on his tail. We know that Don's told us that he picked up this young girl about the age of 14 on one of his jaunts way back in the distant past in California and took her home. And this residence, there was children there taking cocaine. We have all these stories, and some of these are from Don. One of them, the Peeping Tom instance, is from Jodisue, and we've no way to prove what Don's saying or what Jodisue said. But then we get these little glimpses into Don's past, and when you look at the details, you find that something relatively low level as a residential burglary is just really creepy, really weird for a 41-year-old man to be in the company of a juvenile female, and he's got ladies' undies in his pocket, hiding it from the cops, crouching down by the side of a vehicle out of sight. What's he doing there? My concern is for this juvenile female. Who was she? Now, this person, this Candy woman, when she was spoken to, she said she'd told Don to leave on the night previous. So, was Don stalking her? Was she connected to the juvenile female? Was there a lot going on there that the police didn't record or the police didn't find out about. Maybe, yeah, maybe. We just don't know with Don. This seediness of his past and his present is very concerning, and it's why a lot of people feel that he must be involved in some way in the disappearance of Summer Wells. And these kind of things make me concerned about that. Not that he murdered Summer, not that he directly took Summer away necessarily, but there's an involvement with really seedy people, a really sordid past that maybe come back to haunt him. And maybe that's why he said he knew Summer. You know, this angel told him that Summer's time was short. And that picture where he was holding her crying because he knew her time was short. Did he know something was going to happen? Did he know someone was coming for Summer? Was there some kind of an arrangement that maybe Don didn't want, but it happened nonetheless? Maybe Don had been threatened. Maybe Don was involved. I don't know. But these kind of details makes me wonder. And I go through long periods of time, I can't get down there. I go through long periods of time where I think that Don had absolutely nothing to do with the disappearance of Summer Wells. And he's completely innocent. And he's a grieving father. Maybe he is a grieving father, but maybe he does have some knowledge of something. Because you can't defend the undefendable, and these kind of details from Don's past make it incredibly difficult to defend him as a person. No, it doesn't mean he definitely had something to do with the disappearance of Summer. But it concerns me, and I think it concerns many people in this case, that we have all of these conflicting stories, but then we have these little nuggets of truth in there as well. And yeah, so I'll leave a link to Jonathan's live stream in the description box, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. And why I came this way, I've got absolutely no idea, because I'm getting nettled to high heaven. All right, guys. Hopefully my laptop will be back soon, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.